Deep in the cosmos lies a galaxy that defies every rule. The NGC 262 galaxy is a celestial wonderland packed with objects so bizarre they challenge our fundamental understanding of space. We are about to explore 50 of its strangest inhabitants, from ghostly nebulae that vanish to stars that simply should not exist. By the end of this journey, you will gain a new perspective on how truly strange the universe can be. What secrets are hidden within a cloud of sentient dust or a planet made of solid crystal? How much of reality have we yet to even perceive? The first object on our list is a cosmic ghost, a wisp of gas and dust known as the Phantom Nebula. This cloud does not simply drift through space, it vanishes. Astronomers will train their most powerful telescopes on its recorded location, only to find a perfect, empty void. Then, days or even years later, it will reappear just as suddenly as it left, with no pattern to its comings and goings. The light it emits is just as bewildering. Its spectral signature is a chaotic jumble of colors that correspond to no known element on the periodic table. It is not hydrogen, not helium, nothing we can name. This has led to some extraordinary theories. Some scientists propose the nebula is not a cloud at all, but a tear in the fabric of space-time, a temporary window into another dimension that flickers in and out of our view. Others argue it is a celestial mirage of an unimaginable scale, a trick of gravity and light played on us by some unseen, massive object. For decades, these erratic light emissions have defied all prediction, securing the Phantom Nebula's title as one of the most unpredictable and deeply mysterious residents of the NGC 262 galaxy. While the Phantom Nebula plays a cosmic game of hide and seek, another resident of NGC 262 defies physics with its profound silence. Meet the silent pulsar, a neutron star that spins with incredible speed yet broadcasts absolutely nothing. A typical pulsar is like a cosmic lighthouse, sending out powerful, rhythmic beams of radio waves that we can detect as steady pulses. This one, however, is a lighthouse with its light permanently off. It rotates with all the energy and fury of its kind, but the radio silence is absolute. Its magnetic field readings are so intense they shatter every known model, suggesting forces at work that we cannot yet comprehend. This immense power has to go somewhere, and the leading theory is that its energy is being channeled in a way we cannot perceive, perhaps into dimensions beyond our own or converted into a form of dark energy. The gravitational footprint of this silent titan is equally baffling. It tugs at entire star systems with a strength that seems impossible for its relatively small size, warping the orbits of planets light years away as if it were a much larger, hidden object. This has sparked speculation that we are not looking at a natural phenomenon at all, but something constructed. Could the silent pulsar be a piece of alien technology, a Dyson sphere-like structure built around a star to harness its energy so completely that not a single whisper escapes? Or is it a natural marvel, a new type of celestial body that operates by rules we have yet to write? Its silence is not an absence, but a profound mystery echoing across the galaxy. The profound silence of the pulsar gives way to a world of impossible light. Drifting untethered through the void is a rogue planet known as the Crystal Planet, a world that should not be. Its surface is not rock or ice, but a single, colossal geode of unknown crystalline structures. Sunlight from distant stars does not merely strike this world, it is captured, fractured, and woven into rainbows that defy the known laws of optics. The light does not just reflect, it dances in patterns that suggest the crystals themselves are somehow processing the energy, creating a silent, ever-changing light show visible from light years away. The very existence of this planet is a geological paradox. To form a world of pure crystal requires pressures and temperatures so extreme they are typically only found at the heart of stars or in the fleeting moments of a supernova. How such conditions could be sustained to forge an entire planet, then have it cool into this perfect, glittering form, is a question that baffles every expert. Its orbit is just as chaotic as its composition, a drunken path through the galaxy with no parent star to guide it. This world does not follow a set path around a sun, instead weaving unpredictably between star systems as if propelled by some unseen force. This chaotic journey only deepens the mystery of its origin. Was it flung from a solar system during a cosmic collision of unimaginable violence? Or could it be the remnant core of a gas giant, stripped of its layers to reveal this glittering crystalline heart? The potential for mineral formations found nowhere else in the known universe is staggering. Scientists theorize its interior could contain crystals that act as natural quantum computers or store light energy for eons. This is not a simple rock adrift in space. It is a cosmic artifact, a floating treasure chest whose very existence challenges our understanding of how planets are born. The crystal planet's chaotic journey is outshone only by a star that has seemingly mastered time itself. This is the time-dilated star, a celestial body where the flow of time itself is broken. From our vantage point, this star appears to age in slow motion compared to its neighbors. While other stars in its cluster blaze through their life cycles, this one seems to linger in a state of suspended youth. The cause is its immense, crushing gravity, a force so powerful it literally warps the fabric of space-time around it. This is a direct and extreme demonstration of Einstein's theory of relativity, which tells us that gravity can slow down time. But here, the effect is so pronounced it challenges the limits of his equations. The star's gravity is far stronger than any object of its size and type should possess, creating a time dilation effect we can observe from Earth. It is as if we are looking at a natural time machine. Imagine a hypothetical astronaut orbiting this star. For every single hour they experienced, decades could pass for everyone back on Earth. They would return to a future unrecognizable to them. This presents a profound paradox. Is this star a unique cosmic accident, a freak of nature where matter collapsed in just the right way to create this gravitational anomaly? Or does its existence point to something our current physics cannot yet describe? Could its core be made of an exotic, unknown form of matter that generates these impossible gravitational fields? This star is more than a distant light. It is a natural laboratory testing the very laws of the universe, forcing us to question if time is as constant as we believe. The strange time warping of that star is rivaled by a cosmic visitor that appears to be alive. Streaking through the NGC 262 galaxy is the bioluminescent comet, a celestial wanderer that glows with a light that seems to possess a pulse of its own. Unlike ordinary comets, which shine by simply reflecting sunlight, this one generates its own internal radiance. Its long, shimmering tail does not stream in a uniform haze. Instead, it flickers and pulses in complex, rhythmic patterns that resemble the bioluminescent displays of deep-sea creatures here on Earth. These are not random flashes, but waves of light that cascade along its length in sequences that some algorithms suggest bear a striking resemblance to primitive communication codes. The mystery deepens when we look at what the comet is made of. Spectroscopic analysis reveals a cocktail of complex organic compounds, the very building blocks of life, in concentrations never before seen in such an object. We are not talking about simple water, ice, and dust, but long-chain carbon molecules and amino acids that are typically associated with biological processes. This has ignited a fierce debate among scientists. Is this comet merely a dirty snowball carrying the ingredients for life, or is it something far more profound? One compelling theory posits that the comet is not just carrying life, but is itself a form of life. It could be a massive, dormant organism or a colony of cosmic microbes in a deep hibernation state, only awakening to produce its eerie glow as it passes near the energy of stars. Another, even more radical idea suggests we are not looking at a single comet, but at the remnant of an ancient cosmic ecosystem. Imagine a vast, invisible reef in the emptiness of space, where such comets were once as common as fish in an ocean. This object, then, would be a lone survivor, a drifting fragment of a biology that operates on an interstellar scale. Its glowing tail is not just a trail of ice, but a final, fading signal from a lost world we can scarcely conceive. The bioluminescent comet's silent, living light seems almost serene compared to the violent chaos of our next destination. The gravity well anomaly is a region of space where the fundamental force of gravity has seemingly gone mad. Here, the predictable pull described by Newton's laws completely breaks down. Instead of a single, unified force drawing objects towards a central point, the anomaly creates a swirling, multi-directional tug-of-war. A spacecraft entering this zone would not simply be pulled in one direction. It would be simultaneously stretched and compressed, its navigation systems reporting impossible sensor readings as if it were caught in a cosmic washing machine. Probes sent to investigate have spun into uncontrollable tumbles, their trajectories rendered useless by gravitational forces that pull from the left, right, up, and down all at once. The very fabric of space in this region is a tangled knot. What could cause such a fundamental law of physics to shatter? One leading hypothesis points to hidden mass, a concentration of dark matter so dense and peculiarly shaped that its gravitational influence creates this chaotic web. Yet, even the most complex dark matter models struggle to replicate the anomaly's erratic behavior. This has led to more exotic theories. Some physicists propose the area is the mouth of an unstable wormhole, a tunnel through space-time that is flickering in and out of existence, its violent birth pangs warping local gravity with each pulse. The most speculative and perhaps most unnerving idea is that this is not a natural phenomenon at all. Could the gravity well anomaly be a signature of technology? An advanced civilization might have learned to manipulate gravitational fields, using this region as a testing ground, a power source, or even a form of defense. The chaos would then be a deliberate effect, a shield of distorted physics protecting something hidden at its very core. Amidst the gravitational chaos lies a moon that reflects a world that cannot be. Orbiting a gas giant in NGC 262 is the Mirror Moon, a celestial body whose surface shows a perfect, tranquil Earth. Its plains are lush with alien forests, its basins filled with deep blue oceans, and scattered across its face are the glittering spires of cities that have never been built. The first astronomers to observe it described a profound sense of dislocation, as if they were staring at a phantom Earth from a parallel dimension. One researcher noted it felt less like a discovery and more like a memory, a perfect home that never existed yet felt intimately familiar. The psychological toll was significant, with some scientists reporting vivid dreams of walking through those impossible cities, a phenomenon now called the mirror moon mirage. How can a moon light years away show such detailed, Earth-like geography? The surface is not a simple reflective sheet like a bathroom mirror. It is a complex, polished mineral composite that seems to absorb ambient light and re-emit it as these coherent images. It does not reflect the space around it, but generates its own perfect fictional landscape. The leading theory suggests it is a cosmic mirror, not of light but of possibility. It might be tapping into the quantum foam, the fundamental layer of reality where every possible outcome exists, and projecting a version of a terrestrial world from the infinite array of parallel universes. Another, more technological hypothesis posits that the moon is not a natural object at all, but a colossal holographic projector left behind by an ancient civilization. It could be a beacon, a work of art, or a warning, displaying an idealized planet as a template or a memorial. Ongoing studies bombard its surface with every type of signal, from radio waves to laser pulses, searching for a hidden response, a flaw in the projection, or a creator's signature buried in the light. The mirror moon offers no answers, only a silent, beautiful, and deeply unsettling reflection of a home that is always just out of reach. The unsettling silence of the mirror moon finds a strange parallel in a voice from the abyss. At the heart of a forgotten star system spins the whispering black hole, a cosmic paradox that speaks. Unlike the crushing, silent voids we know, this singularity emits faint, structured radio signals. These are not the powerful jets of a feeding black hole, but delicate, repeating pulses that rise and fall in volume, creating a pattern that sounds to our instruments like a soft, constant whisper. The structure is what baffles scientists. The whispers are not random static. They contain distinct phonetic cadences and rhythmic pauses that mirror the building blocks of human language, a coincidence so profound it feels intentional. One school of thought insists this is the universe's most complex natural phenomenon. They argue that these patterns are the result of quantum fluctuations at the very edge of the event horizon, where particles are constantly created and destroyed. In this view, the black hole is not speaking. We are simply hearing the natural, chaotic music of spacetime itself, a symphony we are only now learning to hear. Yet others see a deliberate design. Could these whispers be a beacon, a message deliberately broadcast across the cosmos by an intelligence that understands the very fabric of reality? The event horizon itself adds to the mystery. It is unnaturally stable, a perfect, shimmering sphere that shows none of the violent turbulence expected from such a massive object. This perfect calm is what fuels the most extraordinary theory of all. A stable event horizon could, in theory, act as a gateway. The whispers might not be coming from the black hole itself, but from something on the other side. This portal would not lead to destruction, but to connection, a bridge to another universe or a different layer of our own. Each faint signal could be a fragment of a conversation we are only beginning to decode, a cosmic secret waiting just beyond the veil of reality. The profound whispers of that black hole fade into the tranquil silence of a cosmic sea. Drifting alone in the void is the floating ocean, a sphere of liquid water over 10,000 miles across with no planet to hold it. This is not a moon with subsurface lakes, but a literal, free-floating body of water, a perfect droplet suspended against the vacuum of space. Its surface is impossibly calm, a dark, reflective mirror showing only the distant stars, with no winds to stir waves and no shores to break upon. The very existence of this ocean defies physics. In the vacuum of space, water should instantly flash into vapor, its molecules torn apart by radiation and the lack of pressure. Yet this vast sphere holds its form. The secret seems to lie in its composition. While the ocean is primarily water, it contains a complex cocktail of unknown solutes, organic compounds that act as a self-repairing membrane. This mysterious mixture creates a surface tension far stronger than any known material, a flexible yet unbreakable skin that contains the ocean and shields its depths from the harshness of space. Where could such an immense volume of water have come from? One theory suggests a cataclysmic origin, that this was once the global ocean of a water world, a planet torn apart by a gravitational encounter with a passing star. In this violent event, the water was flung into space, and through some freak of chemistry, it coalesced and stabilized into this solitary sphere. A more speculative idea posits that it is not natural at all, but an artifact. Could an advanced civilization have engineered this ocean as a reservoir, a life preserve, or even a traveling ecosystem, seeding it with the compounds needed to survive the interstellar journey? The possibility of life within its dark depths is the most compelling question. Isolated from any sun, this ocean would be a world of perpetual darkness, its energy coming not from photosynthesis but from chemical reactions around thermal vents on suspended, free-floating rocks within the water. Entire ecosystems could have evolved in this absolute isolation, based on chemosynthesis, with creatures stranger than any deep-sea anglerfish, living and dying in a universe contained within a single floating drop. This ocean is more than a curiosity. It is a test tube on a galactic scale, proving that the ingredients for life can not only survive but potentially thrive in the most lonely and unexpected corners of the cosmos. The serene isolation of the floating ocean gives way to a symphony of color in the chromatic asteroid belt. This is no ordinary field of space rocks, but a vast collection of asteroids that pulse and shift in a coordinated light show. Their surfaces ripple through the spectrum, changing in unison from deep crimson to brilliant azure, as if breathing to a silent, cosmic rhythm. This is not a random phenomenon. Astronomers have made a stunning correlation. The precise timing of these color shifts matches the arrival of gravitational waves emanating from the supermassive black hole at the galaxy's very core. Each subtle ripple in space-time, generated by colossal events millions of years ago, washes over the belt and triggers this vivid transformation. It is as if the asteroids are a colossal instrument, and the gravity of the galaxy is the musician. The secret lies in their unique composition. These asteroids are rich in exotic minerals and rare earth elements not found in our own solar system. Their surfaces are coated with crystalline structures that react directly to gravitational energy. When a gravitational wave passes through, it slightly compresses these crystals, altering their atomic structure and causing them to emit specific wavelengths of light. A gentle squeeze might produce a red glow, while a stronger compression shifts the light toward blue. This makes the belt a natural gravitational wave detector of unimaginable scale, painting the invisible forces of the cosmos in brilliant, visible color. The potential locked within these rocks is immense. For miners, they represent a literal gold mine of rare elements that are fundamental to advanced technologies, from quantum computing to new energy sources. But their value may be more than just industrial. Artists and philosophers have proposed that the belt is the universe's greatest natural art installation. Imagine a spacecraft navigating this ever-changing kaleidoscope, where the walls of reality itself are the brushstrokes. The chromatic asteroid belt is more than a resource. It is a constant, beautiful reminder that the universe is not silent, but speaks to us in a language of light and gravity, if only we know how to look. While the chromatic asteroid belt paints gravity with light, another nebula in NGC 262 uses light to replay history. The Echo Nebula is a vast cloud of gas and dust that does not simply shine, it remembers. It captures the brilliant final flash of ancient supernova and stores that light, releasing it back into the void centuries or even millennia later. This creates a celestial echo, allowing astronomers to witness the same cataclysmic stellar death multiple times from a single event. The process is a complex dance of physics. When the initial shockwave and intense light from a supernova slam into the nebula, they illuminate distant dust filaments at different times. Photons are scattered, absorbed, and then slowly re-emitted by the cloud's unique molecular structure. The result is a delayed, sequential replay of the original explosion, a ghostly afterimage that unfolds over years. Observing these echoes is one of modern astronomy's greatest technical challenges. Scientists must meticulously separate this faint, time-shifted light from the nebula's own glow and the background shine of the galaxy. It is like trying to hear a whisper in a hurricane. This requires coordinating data from telescopes across the electromagnetic spectrum, from radio arrays to X-ray observatories, to build a coherent picture of an event that technically already happened. Yet the reward for this painstaking work is unparalleled. Each echo is a direct window into the galaxy's violent past, offering a second chance to analyze the chemical composition of long-dead stars. By studying the specific elements forged in these repeated explosions, we can trace the history of heavy metal distribution across NGC 262. This tells us which generations of stars lived and died to seed the galaxy with the iron, oxygen, and carbon necessary for planets and life. The Echo Nebula is more than a beautiful cloud. It is a cosmic historian, preserving the most dramatic chapters of the galaxy's story in its own slow, patient light. This cosmic historian is rivaled by a cloud that seems to watch us back. The sentient dust cloud drifts through a quiet sector of NGC 262, a swirling mass of interstellar particles that behaves unlike any other. It does not simply expand or contract with stellar winds. Instead, it moves with a startling sense of purpose, coalescing into intricate, fleeting shapes that resemble living forms. Astronomers have recorded it forming perfect, swirling spirals one moment and complex geometric lattices the next, as if it is experimenting with its own structure. The composition of this cloud is the key to its mystery. Standard interstellar dust is mostly simple silicates and ices, but this cloud is rich with complex organic molecules. These are not just the building blocks of life, they are the blueprints, including amino acids and long-chain polymers that on Earth would be the precursors to proteins and DNA. This has ignited one of the most intense ethical debates in modern science. Are we looking at a complex chemical reaction, or could this dust possess a form of consciousness? Is it a thinking entity that exists as a distributed mind across billions of miles of space? Some researchers argue that its patterned movements are merely the result of complex magnetic fields and gravitational eddies, a beautiful but mindless cosmic dance. Others contend that the sheer complexity and adaptability of its shapes suggest a rudimentary intelligence, a collective awareness born from the interactions of its trillions of intelligent parts. This debate forced a radical new direction in research. Scientists have attempted to communicate with it. They have aimed focused radio signals at the cloud containing mathematical sequences like prime numbers. They have projected simple geometric patterns of light onto its form. On one notable occasion, the cloud responded. After a series of prime numbers was transmitted, the cloud coalesced into a perfect, three-dimensional model of a tetrahedron for exactly 7.3 seconds before dissolving back into chaos. Was this a deliberate answer, a cosmic echo, or just an incredible coincidence? The experiments continue, each one walking a fine ethical line. If this dust is alive, even in a way we cannot fully comprehend, do we have the right to prod and poke it with our signals? The sentient dust cloud forces us to confront the most profound question of all. What is life, and how lonely are we really in this vast, strange galaxy? The silent, intelligent dust has a cosmic counterpart in a star that makes the quantum world visible to the naked eye. Known as the quantum star, this celestial body operates under rules so strange that the fabric of reality itself seems to fray at its edges. Its light is not a steady, coherent beam, but a shimmering, uncertain glow. When analyzed, this light reveals a stunning secret. It displays a perfect interference pattern, the same kind of rippling bands of light and dark you would see in a laboratory double-slit experiment. In a lab, this pattern proves that a single photon behaves as both a particle and a wave until it is observed. Here, that same fundamental quantum weirdness is happening on a stellar scale. The entire star appears to exist in multiple states at once, a cosmic superposition where it is both a dense, hot ball of plasma and a diffuse, wave-like cloud of probability, all at the same time. This visible quantum behavior challenges the very border between the tiny quantum realm and our macroscopic world of classical physics. How can an object with the mass of a million suns behave like a single, uncertain particle? One prevailing theory is that the star's core is not made of ordinary matter. It could be composed of an exotic state, perhaps a Bose-Einstein condensate trillions of times larger than any created on Earth, where all the particles act as a single quantum entity. This would amplify quantum effects to a scale we can see from across the galaxy. For physicists, this star is the ultimate natural laboratory. It presents a unique opportunity to study the elusive theory of quantum gravity, the missing link that would unite Einstein's general relativity with quantum mechanics. By observing how the star's immense gravity interacts with its own quantum state, we could find clues to how space-time is woven from the quantum foam. The potential for a scientific breakthrough here is staggering. It could lead to new technologies based on macroscopic quantum phenomena, from gravity control to communication systems that use quantum entanglement across interstellar distances. The quantum star is not just a light in the sky. It is a question written in fire, asking us to reconsider the very nature of what is real and what is possible. The quantum star's shimmering uncertainty resolves into perfect celestial order within the harmonic cluster. This star cluster is a gravitational orchestra where dozens of stars and their planetary systems orbit in a precise mathematical dance. Their movements are locked in perfect harmonic resonance, meaning their orbital periods form neat, whole number ratios. One star might complete 3 orbits in the exact time its neighbor completes 2, and another completes 5, creating a cosmic rhythm that has remained unbroken for millions of years. This synchronized ballet generates a constant, low hum of gravitational waves, a symphony of ripples in space-time that is far more melodious than the chaotic crashes of merging black holes. The mathematical beauty of this system is breathtaking. It is as if the orbits were composed by a master mathematician, each celestial body a note in a grand, silent composition. This harmony has a profound effect on the cluster's inhabitants. Planetary orbits within these resonant systems are incredibly stable, immune to the gravitational tugs and perturbations that often fling worlds into the void in less orderly star clusters. This stability creates extended, tranquil habitable zones where liquid water could persist on planetary surfaces for billions of years, offering a near-perfect environment for life to emerge and evolve. The existence of such a perfect system raises a compelling question. Is the harmonic cluster a miraculous natural occurrence, a one-in-a-trillion cosmic accident where stars just happen to fall into this perfect arrangement? Or does its perfection point to something more? The odds of so many bodies achieving such complex resonance naturally are astronomically low. This has led to the extraordinary theory that the cluster was artificially arranged. Could an advanced civilization possessing technology to move stars have engineered this cosmic metronome? Perhaps they sought to create a stable galactic haven, a nursery for life on an unimaginable scale. The gentle gravitational symphony it produces might even be a side effect of a greater purpose, a way to harness orbital energy or communicate across vast distances. Whether a natural marvel or a celestial artifact, the harmonic cluster stands as a testament to the profound order that can emerge from the apparent chaos of the cosmos, a silent music that shapes the very possibility of life itself. This cosmic harmony is shattered by a phantom. Drifting through a distant star system is the ghostly ring, a band of debris that flickers in and out of existence. One moment, our telescopes see a vast, structured ring of dust and rock encircling a star, and the next, the space is utterly empty. It is only visible within a very narrow band of the infrared spectrum, a specific shade of heat our eyes cannot see, which is why it appears and vanishes so erratically. Mapping this structure has been a nightmare for astronomers. Probes sent to chart its contours have flown straight through the empty space where the ring was predicted to be, their sensors detecting nothing at all. Then, hours later, the same probes would be bombarded by microscopic particles, their hulls pitted by impacts from an object that was, according to their cameras, not there. The composition of the ring is the source of its ghostly behavior. It is not just made of ordinary rock and ice. Spectroscopic analysis, captured in the brief moments the ring is visible, reveals that a significant portion of its mass is composed of dark matter, the invisible substance that makes up most of the universe's mass. This dark matter is woven into the very fabric of the ring, interacting with normal matter through gravity alone. This invisible component creates a powerful but unseen gravitational anchor. The ring's gravitational influence is constant and profound, dramatically affecting the orbits of planets within its star system. These worlds do not follow clean, elliptical paths. Instead, they wobble and lurch in their orbits, pulled by the intense, shifting gravity of a structure they cannot see. From their perspective, it would be as if their sun had an invisible, massive twin that tugs them erratically from different directions. The mystery of its intermittent visibility is tied directly to its dark matter heart. The leading theory suggests that the normal matter in the ring, the dust and rock we can sometimes detect, is only rendered visible when it is excited by a specific and still unknown cosmic event. This could be a periodic surge of radiation from the central star, or a ripple in the local dark matter density that causes the normal matter to briefly glow in that precise infrared frequency. Until that trigger occurs, the ring remains a ghost, its immense gravitational presence the only clue to its haunting existence in the system. The ghostly ring's invisible gravity finds a stark contrast in a comet trailing a river of solid light. This is the crystallized comet tail, a phenomenon where the comet's ephemeral trail has frozen into a permanent, glittering ribbon stretching for millions of miles behind it. Unlike the transient, gaseous tails of normal comets that vanish as they move away from the sun, this one is a permanent scar across the canvas of space, a river of crystalline structures forged in the void. The conditions required for this to occur are almost impossibly specific. It begins with a comet whose core is rich in a very particular cocktail of hydrocarbons and silicates, a unique recipe not found elsewhere. As this comet approaches a star, the heat vaporizes these materials, creating a long, gaseous tail. The magic happens during its long journey back into the deep freeze of interstellar space. Instead of simply dissipating, the tail undergoes a flash freezing process of unimaginable cold, far below the temperature of typical space. In this profound chill, the vaporized molecules do not just condense back into dust. They arrange themselves into a rigid, lattice-like structure, bonding into a single, continuous crystalline sheet. It is a slow-motion chemical reaction on a cosmic scale, turning a cloud of gas into a solid, shimmering highway. The aesthetic result is breathtaking. When starlight strikes this crystalline ribbon, it does not simply reflect. It fractures into a billion pinpoint sparkles, creating a river of diamonds against the blackness of space. For scientists, this frozen river is a time capsule. Its crystalline structure holds a perfect record of the comet's original chemical composition, uncontaminated by billions of years of cosmic radiation. By analyzing the light that passes through this natural prism, we can decipher the exact elements and compounds present in the early stages of the NGC 262 galaxy. This gives us a direct look at the primordial ingredients that were available when its first star systems began to form. The tail is more than a beautiful accident. It is a frozen recipe, a chemical blueprint that could reveal how the complex molecules necessary for life are sown across the galaxy. Even the frozen river of the comet's tail cannot match the historical purity of Object 17, the time capsule asteroid. This is no ordinary space rock. It is a perfect, preserved relic from the galaxy's violent birth, a cosmic archive that has remained untouched for billions of years. Its surface is a rugged landscape, but its true treasure lies deep within its core, where layers of material are stacked in chronological order like the pages of a history book. The outermost layers show evidence of more recent cosmic bombardment, but as you drill deeper, you journey further back in time, eventually reaching a core of absolutely pristine matter from the early universe. This inner material is the most valuable find imaginable. It contains elemental isotopes and compounds that no longer exist anywhere else in the galaxy, forged only in the first frantic moments after the Big Bang and in the hearts of the very first generation of stars. These are the original ingredients, the primordial stuff from which everything in NGC 262 was ultimately built. Retrieving a sample from this asteroid's heart is considered one of the highest priorities for modern astrophysics. Several ambitious missions are on the drawing board, each more complex than the last. One proposal involves a spacecraft equipped with a powerful laser drill that can vaporize a tiny pathway to the core, then use a magnetic field to capture the released particles without contaminating them. Another, even more daring plan suggests using a focused gravity tractor, a spacecraft that would fly alongside the asteroid and use its own tiny gravitational pull to gently nudge the entire object into a stable orbit around a research outpost where it could be studied for centuries. The secrets locked inside this rock could rewrite our understanding of galactic evolution. By analyzing the ratios of these ancient elements, we could finally pinpoint the exact conditions present when the galaxy's first stars ignited. We could learn what types of stellar giants lived and died first, and how quickly they seeded the void with the heavy elements necessary for rocky planets and life. This asteroid is not merely a rock, it is a silent witness to everything, holding answers to questions we are only now learning how to ask. That silent archive of primordial history is a world away from the dynamic ballet of the dancing moons. Orbiting a serene gas giant are 4 satellites engaged in a perpetual, choreographed performance. They do not simply circle their planet, they weave around each other in an intricate pattern, gracefully swapping orbits in a cycle that has repeated for millennia. One moon will speed up as another slows down, allowing them to trade places without ever colliding, a celestial square dance governed by the precise mathematics of gravity. This delicate ballet is made possible by orbital resonance, a gravitational conversation where the moon's orbital periods are locked in a perfect numerical ratio. The gentle, repeated tugs they exert on one another keep their dance stable, preventing the chaotic collisions that would otherwise shatter their harmony. This constant gravitational waltz generates immense tidal forces, flexing the very cores of these worlds. While this would typically tear a moon apart, here it has created extraordinary environments. The resulting internal heat could power vast, subsurface oceans of liquid water, hidden beneath icy crusts that are constantly needed by the gravity of their partners. Within these dark, warm seas, unique ecosystems might thrive, fueled by chemical energy from hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor. The rhythmic, predictable nature of this dance has not gone unnoticed by storytellers. Across the galaxy, fictional tales have been spun about these moons, with cultures imagining them as gods changing places in the sky or as the clockwork mechanism of a forgotten creator. For scientists, however, the central question is one of fragility. How long can this perfect balance last? A single rogue asteroid impact, nudging one moon just slightly off its rhythm, could cascade into gravitational chaos, sending the entire system spiraling into disarray. Their beautiful dance is a temporary masterpiece, a fleeting demonstration of cosmic order in a galaxy often defined by chaos. Amidst the cosmic chatter of pulsars and whispering black holes, there exists a region of profound and unnatural quiet. The radio silence zone is a bubble in space where all electromagnetic communication simply stops. Any signal, from a simple radio broadcast to a complex laser transmission, is swallowed into absolute nothingness upon crossing its invisible boundary. Probes sent into this zone vanish from tracking systems, not because they are destroyed, but because their constant stream of data is severed in an instant. The silence is not merely an absence, it is an active, impenetrable wall. The leading natural theory points to a phenomenon called quantum vacuum jamming. Here, the very fabric of empty space may be in a state of constant, hyper-energetic fluctuation. These fluctuations would act like a ceaseless storm of static, drowning out any ordered signal in a sea of random noise. It would be like trying to hear a single conversation in a stadium where every single person is shouting at once. Yet, this theory struggles to explain the zone's perfect spherical shape and its unnaturally sharp edges, which suggest a contained and deliberate effect rather than a chaotic natural one. This has fueled the more unsettling possibility of alien technology. Could an advanced civilization have erected this zone as a shield? It might be a form of cosmic censorship, hiding something they do not wish to be seen, or a protective barrier around a world or artifact of immense importance. For explorers, this zone represents a formidable and frustrating obstacle. It is a blind spot in the galaxy, a region we cannot map or study with any of our standard remote sensing tools. Scientists have attempted to penetrate the silence with increasingly powerful and focused signals, hoping that sheer force could punch a temporary hole in the static. Others have tried sending simple physical probes on one-way trips, programmed to record everything, and then hopefully re-establish contact only after they have exited the other side. None have succeeded. The silence remains unbroken, a perfect void in the radio spectrum that stands as a stark reminder of the limits of our perception and the possibility that some mysteries are deliberately kept quiet. This planetary inferno makes the moon's tranquil dance seem like a distant dream. The lava fountain planet is a world perpetually erupting, where volcanoes do not just rumble on the surface, they blast molten rock directly into the vacuum of space. These are not simple eruptions, but continuous, geyser-like fountains of superheated lava that can climb thousands of miles high, reaching escape velocity and spewing their contents into a chaotic, forming orbit. The result is a planet encircled by a shimmering, deadly ring of its own making, a belt of freshly minted orbital debris composed of frozen lava droplets and volcanic glass. The geology of this world is unimaginably volatile. Its crust is likely thin and fractured, sitting atop a mantle of churning, pressurized magma. With no plate tectonics to slowly release this internal heat, the pressure builds until it punches through the surface in these spectacular, violent plumes. This constant loss of mass means the planet is literally tearing itself apart, simultaneously destroying and creating its own environment with every passing hour. Many scientists believe this is not a world in decline, but one in its fiery infancy. We could be witnessing the final, violent stages of planetary formation, a process that typically happened billions of years ago and was hidden from view. Here, the chaos is on full display. The planet is still actively differentiating, with heavier elements sinking to its core and lighter materials being ejected into space. This offers an unprecedented opportunity to study the birth of a terrestrial world in real time. By analyzing the composition of the frozen lava in its orbital ring, we could learn exactly what raw materials are present at the very beginning of a planet's life. Yet, getting close enough to study it is a monumental risk. Any probe or spacecraft would need to navigate a shooting gallery of molten rock and razor-sharp volcanic glass. The radiation environment would be extreme, and the gravitational pulls from both the planet and its newly formed ring would create a navigational nightmare. The reward, however, would be a front-row seat to the most fundamental process in planetary science, watching a world be born from fire and chaos. That planetary inferno is a blaze of raw light, but another star in this galaxy is famous for the darkness it creates. The shadow star is a paradox, a brilliant sun whose light carves out patches of absolute blackness that drift across nearby space with a will of their own. These are not ordinary shadows, the kind cast by a planet blocking the light. These dark patches move independently of any physical object, sliding across nebulae and through star fields as if they are solid things made of pure nothingness. Observational data reveals their behavior is chaotic and unpredictable. One shadow might pulse and writhe, while another glides in a smooth, deliberate arc, completely ignoring the simple rules of optics that should govern them. The star's light itself is the key to the mystery. When analyzed, its spectrum shows subtle, constant anomalies, tiny shifts in wavelength that suggest its photons are interacting with an unknown form of matter or energy as they travel. One leading theory proposes that the space around this star is filled with a halo of dark matter particles that have a unique property. They don't just weakly interact with light, they actively consume it, but only under specific conditions created by the star's particular radiation. In this model, the moving shadows are not a lack of light, but pockets where light is being instantly and perfectly absorbed by this invisible halo. A more radical explanation points to the geometry of reality itself. Some astrophysicists suggest the star's immense gravitational field is warping space-time so severely that it allows us fleeting glimpses into other dimensions. The moving shadows could be the silhouettes of objects in a parallel universe, cast onto our own as their light briefly intersects with ours through a gravitational lens of unimaginable complexity. The debate in the scientific community is fierce. Traditionalists argue for a complex but ultimately natural interplay of magnetic fields and exotic plasma physics. Visionaries, however, see the shadow star as the first hard evidence that our universe is not alone, but one layer in a vast cosmic stack. Every independent movement of those dark patches is a potential clue, a hint that we are not just looking at a star, but at a window, and something on the other side is moving past the glass. The shadow star's phantom darkness is rivaled by a cloud of pure, chaotic energy. Drifting on the stellar winds is the magnetic storm cloud, a colossal formation of ionized gas that acts as a natural electromagnetic weapon. This is not a peaceful nebula. It is a seething cauldron of charged particles, generating magnetic fields of such intensity and fluctuation that they can fry the electronics of a passing starship from light years away. Its origins are as violent as its effects. The cloud is the expanding corpse of a rare hypernova, a stellar explosion so powerful it left behind a tangled knot of magnetic field lines instead of a simple pulsar. This chaotic remnant now drifts through the galaxy, a ghost of a dead star that refuses to fade quietly. As it travels, it does not simply dissipate. It feeds, sweeping up interstellar hydrogen and dust, using this new material to fuel its own internal turbulence. The storms within are constant, with magnetic field strength spiking and collapsing in unpredictable surges. For any vessel caught in its periphery, the effects are immediate and catastrophic. Navigation systems gyrate wildly, communication arrays are flooded with indecipherable static, and primary power conduits can overload in seconds. There are stories of automated freighters drifting silently after a close encounter, their computers reduced to molten slag by the cloud's invisible fury. Space agencies treat this cloud with the same caution as a celestial hurricane. Its path is tracked with obsessive precision by a network of deep space monitoring stations. Warnings are broadcast across all channels long before it enters a populated sector. Ship designs have been hardened with layers of electromagnetic shielding, and critical systems are often built with triple redundancies, all because of this single wandering cloud. Yet within this destructive power lies an incredible opportunity. Theoretically, a spacecraft equipped with the right technology could dip into the cloud's outer layers and siphon this raw magnetic energy. It would be like tapping into a star, harvesting gigawatts of power from the storm itself. This could provide nearly limitless energy for long-duration voyages or power massive new types of sensors and transmitters. The magnetic storm cloud is a paradox, a navigational nightmare that could one day become the ultimate fueling station, proving once again that in the NGC 262 galaxy, the greatest dangers often hide the most valuable secrets. The magnetic storm cloud's raw power gives way to a far more subtle and profound glow. Drifting in a quiet arm of the galaxy is the bioluminescent nebula, a cloud that shines with a soft, internal light reminiscent of a living sea. Unlike other nebulae, which are illuminated by the radiation of nearby stars, this one generates its own gentle radiance from within. Its light is a soothing, pulsating blue-green, flowing in slow, rhythmic waves across its vast expanse like the breath of a sleeping giant. This is not starlight, but a light born of chemistry, a celestial display powered by the nebula's own unique composition. The cloud is incredibly rich in complex organic molecules, a thick soup of amino acids, lipids, and other carbon-based compounds that are the fundamental precursors to life. These molecules possess a remarkable property. When they are agitated by even the faintest gravitational tides or cosmic radiation, they react, releasing energy in the form of that distinctive, gentle glow. It is a process startlingly similar to the bioluminescence found in Earth's deepest oceans, but scaled up to a cosmic level. This has led to the extraordinary theory that the nebula is not just a cloud of ingredients but a living nursery. Within its protective, glowing folds shielded from harsh stellar radiation, these organic compounds could be slowly, patiently assembling into more complex structures. The pulsating light might not be a random phenomenon, but a sign of metabolic activity on a scale we can barely comprehend, the nebula itself acting as a single, vast, incubating organism. This possibility has sparked one of the most delicate ethical debates in modern science. If this cloud is indeed a cradle for nascent life, how do we study it without causing irreparable harm? The exhaust from a single probe could introduce contaminants that disrupt the fragile chemical chains. A focused radio signal might be like a thunderclap in a silent library, scattering the very processes we hope to observe. Scientists are now proposing missions of unprecedented caution, using solar sails for propulsion and remote sensors that make no physical contact. The goal is to listen and learn without touching, to understand this glowing marvel without extinguishing its light. The bioluminescent nebula forces us to see the universe not just as a physical space, but as a potential biological one, where the line between a chemistry set and a cradle may be impossibly thin. While the nebula glows with a silent, chemical light, a far more profound melody echoes from the void. The singing black hole is a gravitational maestro, performing a song written in the fabric of space-time itself. This is not sound as we know it, no vibration traveling through air. Instead, the black hole's immense gravity creates ripples, waves that stretch and compress the very space between stars. When our most sensitive observatories detect these gravitational waves, scientists can translate the data into sound waves within our range of hearing, revealing a haunting, resonant tone. This cosmic hum is a direct result of the violence in its accretion disk, the superheated whirlpool of gas and dust spiraling into oblivion. As large clumps of matter are torn apart and consumed, they create distinct beats and frequency shifts in the gravitational signal. A sudden, bright flare in the X-ray spectrum corresponds to a sharp crescendo in the song, while a period of relative quiet might produce a sustained, lower drone. By carefully listening to this melody, astronomers can decipher the black hole's most fundamental properties. The base frequency of the tone reveals its mass, a deeper pitch indicating a more colossal object. The complexity of the harmonics, the subtle overtones woven into the main note, tells us how fast it is spinning. A simple, clean tone suggests a slow rotation, while a complex, warbling song points to a vortex spinning at a significant fraction of the speed of light. This has captivated more than just scientists. The idea of a celestial body producing music touches a deep, universal chord. Composers have incorporated these translated frequencies into symphonies, and philosophers have long pondered the music of the spheres, a concept made real by this gravitational soloist. For researchers, every note is a data point. A sudden shift from a steady hum to a chaotic screech could signal a dramatic event, like a star being captured and ripped apart. The gradual change in the song's pitch over millennia can tell the story of the black hole's growth, a slow, cosmic ballad of consumption. We are not just observing this object, we are listening to its history, a song of gravity that has been playing for millions of years before we learned how to hear it. The haunting song of the black hole fades into the deep freeze of a distant, active moon. Orbiting a ringed gas giant is a world of ice and fire, where volcanoes do not spew molten rock but water and ammonia. This is the ice volcano moon, a landscape of frozen geysers that tower over plains of solid ice. Its surface is a tapestry of strange formations, with vast, glassy plains punctuated by colossal, dormant cryovolcanoes and networks of icy channels carved by ancient flows. The plumes from these eruptions can climb hundreds of miles into the thin atmosphere, where they instantly freeze, falling back to the surface as a slow, silent snow of exotic ices. These eruptions are not driven by heat from radioactive decay, but by the immense tidal forces of its parent planet. The gravitational pull is so powerful that it constantly flexes the moon's interior, generating enough friction to keep a global ocean of liquid water sloshing beneath a crust of ice many miles thick. This subsurface ocean is the moon's true heart, a dark, salty sea completely isolated from the surface and the sun. The potential for life within this eternal night is a driving force for exploration. Scientists theorize that around hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor, entire ecosystems could thrive, much like those around black smokers in Earth's deepest oceans. The life forms here would be true extremophiles, organisms that draw energy not from sunlight, but from the chemical soup provided by the vents, living in absolute darkness under pressures that would crush a submarine. Reaching this hidden ocean, however, is one of the most daunting challenges in modern space exploration. Several ambitious missions are in development, each designed to pierce the icy shell. One concept involves a nuclear-powered cryobot, a torpedo-like probe that would melt its way slowly through the ice, descending for months or even years until it finally breaks through into the abyssal water below. Once there, it would release an autonomous submarine to explore the alien sea. The engineering hurdles are immense, from withstanding the crushing pressure to ensuring all equipment is perfectly sterile to avoid contaminating a potential alien biosphere. The data returned would be priceless, offering our first glimpse into a potentially second genesis of life, proving that the spark of life can ignite in the coldest, darkest corners of the galaxy. Far from the frozen moon lies a world wrapped in perpetual rainbows. The Prism planet possesses an atmosphere that acts as a colossal, natural lens, bending the light of its sun into a brilliant, shifting spectrum that envelops the entire globe. Its skies are never a single color, but a living kaleidoscope where bands of crimson, gold, and violet flow like liquid light across the horizon. This stunning effect is the result of a perfect and incredibly rare atmospheric recipe. The air is thick with microscopic hexagonal ice crystals and uniformly sized aerosol droplets, all held in a state of constant suspension by powerful planet-wide jet streams. When sunlight strikes this precise cocktail, it does not simply pass through. Each ray is fractured, its constituent colors separated and scattered in every direction, creating a permanent planet-sized halo of pure color. This constant prismatic display has profound consequences for the climate. The planet experiences a muted version of day and night as the rainbow veil diffuses the harshness of direct sunlight, creating a perpetual, soft twilight. This gentle, filtered light would dramatically reduce the amount of harmful ultraviolet radiation reaching the surface, potentially creating a safer environment for the development of life. However, it also presents a unique challenge for photosynthesis. Any plant-like life would need to adapt to harvesting energy from a much broader and more diffuse spectrum of light, perhaps evolving leaves that are pitch black to absorb every possible wavelength from the ever-present rainbows. For artists and philosophers, this world is the ultimate muse. Imagine mountains that appear to be carved from solid amethyst under a green sky, or oceans that shimmer with the hues of 1,000 sunsets all at once. It is a natural cathedral of light, a place where the beauty of physics is painted across an entire world. For scientists, the planet is a giant natural laboratory for optics. Studying how light behaves in this extreme environment could lead to breakthroughs in fiber optics, new types of lenses, and a deeper understanding of atmospheric phenomena. The Prism planet is more than a beautiful oddity. It is a dynamic world where the simple act of light passing through air becomes the defining feature of its existence, challenging our very notions of what a sky can be. The Prism planet's vibrant skies are a spectacle of light, but some worlds in NGC 262 are defined by their utter absence of it. The Ghost planet is a world that cannot be seen, a massive sphere we know exists only because it warps the very space around it. Astronomers discovered this phantom not by spotting its light, but by watching the light of a distant star behind it. As the unseen planet passed in front of the star, its gravity acted like a lens, bending and magnifying the starlight in a telltale arc. For a few days, the distant star appeared to brighten in a very specific, mathematically perfect way, revealing the presence of an invisible object of immense mass tugging at the fabric of reality. This technique, called gravitational microlensing, is the only way to find such a perfectly dark world. Every attempt to observe it directly has failed. Its surface emits no heat, reflects no light, and broadcasts no radio signals. It is a cosmic void with the gravitational footprint of a giant. The theories about its composition are as strange as its nature. The leading idea is that this planet is not made of rock or gas, but is a sphere of condensed dark matter. This would explain its incredible mass and its perfect invisibility, as dark matter does not interact with light in any way. Another, more exotic theory suggests it could be a rogue planet encased in a shell of perfectly light-absorbing material, a cosmic stealth craft designed to be undetectable. The implications of this ghost are staggering. If one such world can exist, there could be millions, even billions, of dark planets drifting unseen through the galaxy. Our current maps of star systems, built on what we can see, could be missing an entire hidden architecture of dark worlds. These phantom planets could be weaving through our own cosmic neighborhood, their silent gravity subtly influencing the orbits of the stars and planets we can see, a hidden framework shaping the visible galaxy. Finding the Ghost planet was not just the discovery of a single strange object, but a revelation that the universe is far more crowded and far more mysterious than it appears. While the Ghost planet reveals the hidden mass of the cosmos, a far grander structure connects the entire galaxy in a single, invisible net. This is the cosmic web filament, a thread of dark matter and primordial gas so vast it links entire galactic clusters across millions of light years. For most of history, this filament was just a theoretical prediction, the backbone of the universe's large-scale structure. But here in NGC 262, a fortunate alignment and new sensing technologies have made a small section of this cosmic skeleton faintly visible, a ghostly bridge stretching into the void. This filament is not a simple string of stars. It is a river of potential, a highway of dark matter whose immense gravity guides the flow of ordinary matter. Galaxies are not scattered randomly. They form along these threads like beads on a string, drawn together by the invisible pull of the dark matter that makes up most of the filament's mass. The thin gas within it is the raw fuel for future stars, a reservoir of hydrogen slowly streaming toward the dense galactic nodes at the filament's intersections. The filament's influence on star birth is profound yet subtle. It acts as a cosmic delivery system, channeling fresh gas into galaxies and reigniting their star-forming engines. A galaxy drifting through this river of matter might experience a sudden, glorious burst of new stellar creation, a baby boom of stars triggered by this influx of pristine fuel. Mapping this structure fully is one of astronomy's greatest challenges. We are trying to see something that is fundamentally dark, using tools that sense its gravitational influence and the faint glow of its heated gas. It requires coordinating data from gravitational lensing surveys, which map the dark matter's distribution, with ultraviolet and X-ray telescopes that can detect the wispy, million-degree gas. This is like trying to trace the outline of a shadow by the way it bends the light around it. The technological advances needed are staggering. we would need a network of telescopes in deep space, working in perfect synchrony to create a composite image of this cosmic anatomy. The mysteries this filament holds are fundamental to our own existence. By studying its structure, we can trace the history of cosmic evolution from the Big Bang to the present day. Its length and density are a frozen record of the universe's expansion, a fossil from the dawn of time. Each new thread we discover adds another piece to the map, revealing that we live not in a formless void, but within the intricate and beautiful architecture of the cosmic web. That cosmic web of dark matter is a silent skeleton, but a pulsar in NGC 262 is using sound to reveal the hidden clutter of the galaxy. The echoing pulsar is a stellar lighthouse whose rhythmic radio bursts do not travel in a straight line. Instead, they ricochet off invisible obstacles, returning to our telescopes as faint, delayed copies of the original signal. Each echo is a cosmic sonar ping, mapping the unseen geography of deep space with astonishing precision. The technique works by measuring the time delay between the initial pulse and its returning echo. A delay of a few microseconds means the signal bounced off a dust cloud relatively close by, while a delay of several minutes could indicate it traveled to a dense molecular cloud light years away and back. By carefully triangulating these echoes, astronomers can build a three-dimensional map of the interstellar medium, revealing structures that are completely dark to our optical and infrared telescopes. This method has already uncovered entire constellations of hidden matter. One of the most significant discoveries was a vast, fragmented shell of icy debris surrounding a young star system, the remnants of its violent planetary formation that were completely invisible by other means. Another echo traced the outline of a cold, dark nebula so dense it was poised to collapse and form a new generation of stars, a stellar nursery caught in the act of being built. The potential for future exploration is immense. Imagine using this pulsar as a natural sonar beacon to chart safe passage for future interstellar voyages, identifying hazardous asteroid fields and dense dust regions long before a spacecraft enters them. It could even detect the gravitational wakes of massive, silent objects like the ghost planet, as their presence subtly distorts the path of the echoing radio waves. The echoing pulsar transforms the galaxy from a static picture into a dynamic, echoing cavern, where every returning whisper tells the story of something we cannot see. This crystalline rain transforms entire worlds into glittering kingdoms of ice and light. The crystal rain phenomenon occurs in a specific, tranquil region where a dense nebula brushes against the magnetic field of a lonely star. Here, supercooled gases, chilled to temperatures we cannot replicate on Earth, are held in a delicate suspension. The star's magnetic field acts like a cosmic sculptor, guiding and aligning these gaseous particles, forcing them to condense directly into solid, intricate crystals without ever passing through a liquid stage. These are not snowflakes but geometric marvels, some as complex as dodecahedrons and others like microscopic, spiraling staircases. They drift downward in a silent, perpetual blizzard, each one a unique artifact of the nebula's hidden chemistry. Over eons, this gentle precipitation accumulates, coating asteroids, moons, and even the surfaces of derelict spacecraft in a thick, glittering crust. The resulting landscapes are breathtakingly alien. Vast plains become fields of diamonds, canyons are filled with crystalline dust that glows with an internal fire, and mountain ranges sparkle under the starlight like jagged clusters of pure sapphire. For scientists, this falling dust is a treasure trove. Each crystal is a tiny time capsule, its specific atomic structure locked into place by the unique conditions of its birth nebula. By catching and analyzing these particles, we can perform remote chemistry on the cloud itself, identifying the exact ratios of rare elements and complex molecules present within it. This data reveals the nebula's history, telling us which stars contributed their ashes to its formation, and what kind of planetary systems might eventually coalesce from its raw materials. The silent, beautiful fall of this crystal rain is more than a spectacle. It is a continuous experiment, writing the secrets of cosmic chemistry in a language of light and geometric perfection for anyone patient enough to read it. This silent, drifting snow of crystals is a patient process, but time itself behaves with utter impatience on the time-warped asteroid. This lonely rock tumbles through space, its surface locked in a temporal sprint while its core lingers in slow motion. The effect is a direct consequence of Einstein's theory of relativity, made visible on a single, tangible object. The asteroid travels at a significant fraction of light speed on a highly elliptical orbit around a massive neutron star. This combination of immense velocity and powerful gravity creates a severe time dilation effect. For every hour that passes on the asteroid's heavily irradiated surface, mere minutes pass in the protected calm of its deep interior. We discovered this bizarre property through a series of robotic probes. The first lander touched down and drilled a core sample, planting a network of synchronized atomic clocks on the surface and deep within a borehole. Mission Control watched in disbelief as the data streamed in. The surface clocks began to tick measurably faster than their buried counterparts, falling out of sync within just a few days. The surface of the asteroid is a frantic, high-energy environment, bombarded by radiation and scoured by micrometeorites. Yet, just a few miles below, the rock is pristine, a perfectly preserved relic shielded by the very distortion of time around it. This makes the asteroid the ultimate natural laboratory for testing our most fundamental theories about time. Physicists are desperate to study the transition zone between the fast surface and the slow core, hoping to observe how quantum mechanics and relativity interact at this boundary. Could we find clues about the nature of spacetime itself in the rock layers between the two time zones? The potential for discovery is as profound as the paradox it presents. This is not a thought experiment. It is a real place where the future and the past coexist within the same mountain of stone, challenging our most basic assumption that time flows the same for everyone and everything everywhere. Our galaxy's strangest life forms may not dwell on rocky worlds, but float in the sky of a colossal gas giant. This is the bioluminescent gas giant, a planet whose deep atmosphere pulses with a soft internal light. Its swirling cloud bands are not just shades of white and red, but rivers of emerald and sapphire that flow and flicker across the globe. This radiance does not come from a star, but from within the atmosphere itself, a living light born from countless trillions of microscopic organisms. The evidence for this extraordinary claim is found in the light they emit. Spectroscopic analysis reveals the glow is a cold light, the product of a chemical reaction, and the specific signature matches the bioluminescence of deep-sea creatures on Earth. Furthermore, the atmosphere is thick with complex organic molecules like lipids and proteins, the undeniable building blocks of biology. The most compelling data, however, comes from the light patterns. The pulsations are not random. They form intricate sequences with specific flashes repeating across vast distances in the upper atmosphere. Some researchers have identified patterns that resemble a primitive binary code, while others see cascading waves of light that move with a clear, purposeful rhythm, as if the entire planetary atmosphere is engaged in a slow, silent conversation. This has ignited one of the most passionate debates in science. Is this definitive proof of extraterrestrial life? Skeptics argue that complex chemistry alone could explain both the molecules and the patterns. They point to unknown atmospheric processes that might mimic biological signaling, suggesting we are witnessing an incredible but natural phenomenon. Proponents, however, see a distributed planetary scale intelligence. They argue that the consistency and complexity of the light sequences are a form of language, a global network of communication between floating, light-based life forms. Could the entire gas giant be a single, vast ecosystem, with its glowing inhabitants using light the way we use sound? The implications are staggering. If this is life, it is life on a scale we can barely comprehend, a biology that has conquered an entire world without ever needing a solid surface. This gas giant does not just suggest we are not alone. It shouts it in a silent, beautiful language of light, forcing us to expand our very definition of what life can be. Floating near the galaxy's core is a cloud that defies a fundamental law of our universe. The magnetic monopole cloud is a swirling mass of particles that each possess a single, isolated magnetic pole. On Earth, every magnet we have ever created or found has both a north and a south pole, a duality that is a cornerstone of classical electromagnetism. Cutting a magnet in two does not give you separate poles. It simply creates two smaller magnets, each with its own north and south. This cloud, however, is different. Its particles are either pure north or pure south, existing as singular, unpaired magnetic charges. For physicists, this is the equivalent of finding a particle that has an electrical charge but no mass, a discovery that would shatter and then rewrite our understanding of the forces that shape reality. The existence of these particles, long theorized but never before observed, would complete the symmetry between electricity and magnetism in a beautifully elegant way. Just as positive and negative electric charges can exist independently, so too could north and south magnetic poles. This single discovery would be the key to unlocking technologies that currently belong in the realm of science fiction. It could lead to the development of magnetic batteries with near-infinite lifespans, power systems that generate no waste heat, and even new forms of propulsion that manipulate magnetic fields for incredibly efficient space travel. Yet, studying this cloud is a monumental challenge. The particles are notoriously unstable in our dimension, flickering in and out of existence. They interact so weakly with normal matter that they can pass through a planet as if it were not even there. Our only method of detection is to observe the subtle, telltale trails they leave in supercooled particle detectors, faint signatures that vanish almost as soon as they appear. The potential locked within this swirling cloud is immense, a treasure trove of physical laws waiting to be understood, promising a future where energy is mastered in ways we can only begin to dream. This harmonic resonance is a physical force, a region of space where the vacuum itself hums with a fundamental vibration. Within this field, all matter is subject to its rhythmic pull, a cosmic metronome that dictates the fate of stars and planets. The effect is most visible in the stellar nurseries that dot its expanse. Here, the vibrations guide the collapse of gas clouds, encouraging stars to form in synchronized clusters that pulse with a shared, steady light. Their planetary systems inherit this order, with worlds falling into orbits of perfect mathematical harmony, their paths as predictable as clockwork. Yet, just beyond these zones of perfect stability lie areas of utter chaos. Where different harmonic frequencies intersect and clash, they create destructive interference, a dissonant region where gravity itself seems to stutter. In these chaotic zones, planetary orbits become unstable and unpredictable, with young worlds being violently ejected into the deep void or smashed into each other in a hail of celestial debris. One moment there is perfect cosmic order, and the next a storm of gravitational noise. The origin of this pervasive field is one of cosmology's great puzzles. The most profound theory suggests we are hearing the fading echo of creation itself. These could be the primordial vibrations from the Big Bang, stretched and amplified over billions of years, a fossilized hum from the very birth of the universe that has somehow become trapped in this region of NGC 262. Another hypothesis points to a more local but equally spectacular cause. A nearby supermassive black hole spinning at near light speed could be ringing space-time like a bell, its immense gravity generating these steady waves that propagate through the galactic arm. For the beings that might live on a world within the stable zone, this resonance would be a fundamental part of existence. Their entire reality would be built upon this rhythm, their biology and culture potentially synchronized to the silent music of the cosmos. The field is a reminder that space is not an empty stage, but an active participant in the drama of the universe, a musician whose silent song builds worlds and tears them apart. This invisible danger zone is the phantom radiation belt, a lethal ring of energy that flickers in and out of our perception. It does not have a permanent location, materializing only when specific, high-energy conditions are met within its region of space. One moment, a ship's sensors will show a clear path, and the next they are screaming with alerts as the belt solidifies around them, flooding the area with a storm of exotic particles. The composition of this radiation is what makes it so deadly and difficult to study. It is not the usual protons and electrons found in the Van Allen belts around Earth. Instead, it is a soup of theoretical particles, including magnetic monopoles and actions, which pass through ordinary shielding as if it were not even there. These particles interact so weakly with normal matter that they can travel through a planet, but in the intense concentrations of the belt, they wreak havoc on atomic structures, causing computer chips to decay and metal alloys to become brittle. Several early probe missions learned this lesson the hard way. The Surveyor probe Stargazer 1 is the most famous casualty. It was mapping a supposedly empty sector when the belt materialized around it. The initial telemetry showed a cascade of system failures as the exotic radiation scrambled its electronics. Its final transmission was a fragmented data stream showing its own hull composition breaking down at the molecular level before all contact was lost. To navigate this threat, scientists developed a new form of predictive sensing. They cannot detect the belt itself when it is dormant, but they can monitor the space around it for gravitational ripples and quantum vacuum fluctuations that act as a precursor, a telltale shimmer in spacetime that warns of the belt's imminent appearance. Modern spacecraft are now equipped with these quantum resonance scanners, and their flight paths are carefully plotted to avoid the phantom's predicted locations. This hidden danger forced a complete rethink of interstellar travel safety, proving that in NGC 262, the void itself can become a weapon without warning. Even the Phantom's lethal radiation seems orderly compared to the chaotic artistry of the crystalline dust devil. This is no ordinary whirlwind, but a towering vortex of interstellar dust and charged particles, spinning with such ferocious electromagnetic energy that it forges intricate crystals in midair. Imagine a terrestrial dust devil, but one that stands taller than mountains and swirls in the vacuum of space, its form a shimmering, ephemeral sculpture of light and geometric perfection. The conditions for this phenomenon are incredibly rare. It requires a dense pocket of mineral-rich dust, a powerful and fluctuating magnetic field, and a source of intense electrical charge, often from a nearby stellar remnant. Within the Devil's funnel, particles are not merely tossed about, they are accelerated to incredible speeds, colliding and fusing in the energetic maelstrom. The electromagnetic forces act like a cosmic potter's wheel, guiding the dust as it bonds into complex lattices, creating microscopic diamonds, sapphires, and forms of crystal we have no name for, all within the heart of the storm. From a safe distance, the effect is breathtaking. Observatories have recorded the Devil as a shimmering, dancing pillar, its form constantly collapsing and reforming as it travels. It scatters starlight into brilliant coronas, and the crystals it briefly creates catch the light like a cloud of dispersed glitter, a temporary art installation written in geometry and lightning. For scientists, this is more than a spectacle, it is a unique laboratory. By analyzing the specific types of crystals formed, they can deduce the exact elemental composition of the dust cloud it is feeding on, a form of remote cosmic chemistry. Each fleeting crystal is a snapshot of the violent, creative forces that constantly reshape the void, proving that beauty in the NGC 262 galaxy is often born from the most turbulent and impossible conditions. The chaotic artistry of the dust devil is frozen in time within the heart of a far older star. The time capsule star is a stellar historian, a slowly burning giant whose outer layers hold the chemical fingerprint of galactic events that occurred billions of years ago. When this star first ignited, it formed from a cloud of gas that was already enriched with the ashes of the very first supernova. As it ages, it gently convects, bringing these ancient elements from its core to its surface, where we can read them like pages in a cosmic ledger. Its spectrum, the unique barcode of light it emits, is not a simple signature of hydrogen and helium. It is cluttered with the unmistakable lines of rare, heavy elements like gold, platinum, and uranium, substances that can only be forged in the heart of a dying, massive star. Each element tells a story of a specific type of stellar death that happened long before our own sun was even a glimmer in the cosmos. Astronomers use this star to perform a form of celestial archaeology. By measuring the precise ratios of these radioactive elements, they can effectively carbon date the supernova explosions that created them. For instance, the amount of uranium-238 versus thorium-232 acts as a radioactive clock. Since we know the rate at which uranium decays into thorium, calculating how much of each is left in the star tells us how long it has been since that uranium was freshly made in a supernova blast. This allows scientists to build a timeline, placing the most violent and creative events in the galaxy's history in chronological order. It reveals that NGC 262 experienced an intense period of star birth and death very early in its life, a frantic era of cosmic construction that flooded it with the heavy elements necessary for planets like Earth to ever form. Peeling back these layers of stellar history requires some of the most advanced technology on and above our planet. The primary tool is a high-resolution spectrograph, an instrument attached to massive telescopes that can split the star's faint light into an exquisitely detailed spectrum. These devices need to be so sensitive they can detect a shift in the absorption lines caused by a few parts per billion of an element like osmium. This work cannot be done from the ground alone. Earth's atmosphere blurs these delicate spectral lines, so much of the crucial data comes from space-based observatories that operate in the crystal-clear vacuum of orbit. Supercomputers then take this data, comparing the observed spectra against massive databases of nuclear physics to model the exact conditions inside those long-vanished supernovae. This star is more than a distant sun. It is a bridge to a forgotten past, a single point of light that contains the fossilized echoes of the galaxy's first great explosions. Deep in the heart of a binary system, two stars are locked in a conversation that defies the speed of light. The quantum entanglement pair are stellar twins whose fates are intertwined by a bond that transcends the vast distance between them. When a massive solar flare erupts on the surface of one star, an identical flare ignites on its partner at the exact same moment, despite being separated by several light years of empty space. This instantaneous connection is a stunning, real-world demonstration of quantum entanglement, a phenomenon where two particles become linked so that the state of one directly influences the state of the other, no matter the distance. To see this spooky action at a distance, as Einstein called it, play out on the scale of entire stars is a development that challenges the bedrock of modern physics. The implications for faster-than-light communication are staggering. If we could harness this link, we could send messages across the galaxy with no delay, collapsing the vast distances that currently isolate star systems. This would revolutionize everything from exploration to diplomacy, creating a truly connected galactic community. Yet harnessing this power is a monumental challenge. The primary experiment to verify the phenomenon involves a fleet of synchronized observatories constantly monitoring both stars. They are looking for correlated events like flares or changes in brightness that happen in perfect unison. The data is then run through algorithms designed to rule out any other possible cause, such as a hidden third object influencing both stars simultaneously. The results have been both tantalizing and controversial. While the statistical correlation is incredibly strong, a vocal portion of the scientific community remains deeply skeptical. They argue that what we are seeing is not true quantum entanglement, but a complex pre-programmed synchronization, a cosmic coincidence written into the stars from their birth. They question whether the correlation is truly perfect or if there are tiny, undetectable delays that would preserve the cosmic speed limit. The debate rages on, forcing physicists to ask a profound question. Are we witnessing a new macroscopic law of physics, or is our understanding of quantum mechanics itself still incomplete? These two stars are more than just celestial bodies. They are a living experiment, their silent, instantaneous dialogue testing the very limits of what we believe is possible. The ghostly aurora floats untethered in the void, a shimmering curtain of light with no world to call home. This ethereal display drifts through a starless region, its colors shifting through hues that have no name on Earth, from a deep, pulsating magenta to a sharp, electric cyan. It is a planetless phenomenon, a celestial light show without an audience, ignited by its interaction with a powerful, invisible magnetic field. The source of this field is the central mystery, as our most sensitive instruments detect no star, no neutron star, and no planet massive enough to generate such a force. The aurora simply dances around an empty point in space, a beautiful effect in desperate search of a cause. For the scientists studying it, this is a profound puzzle. The leading theory suggests a compact, dense object entirely cloaked in dark matter, whose immense gravity generates the magnetic field, but whose form remains perfectly hidden from every wavelength of light we can throw at it. Another, more radical idea posits a temporary wormhole, a tunnel through space-time whose magnetic mouth is all that bleeds through into our dimension, painting the void with light from a universe next door. The energy required to sustain such a brilliant, permanent display is staggering, pointing to a power source that could revolutionize our understanding of physics if we could ever locate it. This spectacle has not gone unnoticed by the galaxy's storytellers. Cultures that have evolved under its glow weave tales of a great, unseen protector, a celestial being whose breath is the aurora and whose heartbeat is the silent pulse of the magnetic field. They see it as a bridge to the spirit world, a map of destinies written in light, or the ghost of a world that died long ago, forever mourning its own loss in a silent, colorful vigil. Researchers are now attempting to harvest minuscule amounts of this energy, deploying specialized probes that fly through the aurora's fringes. These craft use vast, superconducting loops to catch the ambient magnetic fluctuations, converting the ghostly light directly into power. It is a dangerous endeavor, flying blind into an invisible force, but the potential reward is a nearly limitless energy source tapped from a mystery that illuminates the darkness. This silent, learning cloud drifts through a quiet nebula, a conscious fog that watches us back. The sentient gas cloud is a formation of ionized plasma and complex hydrocarbons that exhibits behaviors we can only describe as intelligent. When a mapping probe first approached, the cloud did not simply scatter. It coalesced, forming a perfect, hollow sphere around the vessel, studying it for hours before dissolving back into a shapeless mist. On another occasion, it mimicked the probe's own blinking navigation lights, replicating the sequence with flawless timing before adding a new, more complex pattern of its own. This is not random movement, but a clear sign of adaptation and learning. The composition of the cloud is a biological paradox. It lacks the DNA or cells we associate with life, but it is teeming with self-replicating molecular structures and lipid membranes that form and dissolve within the swirling plasma. It is a chemistry set running experiments on itself, a distributed mind housed in a body of electrified gas. This has ignited a fierce debate. Is this a new form of plasma-based life, a thinking entity that uses magnetic fields for nerves and electrical currents for blood? Or is it an impossibly complex natural system, a cosmic feedback loop that only mimics intelligence through the interactions of billions of simple particles. The ethical dilemma is profound. Do we have the right to prod and poke this potential being with our signals? Some researchers argue that any attempt to communicate is a form of contamination, that our very presence might be disrupting a thought process that operates on a timescale of centuries. Others see a moral imperative to reach out, to learn from a form of consciousness so alien it could redefine our place in the cosmos. The potential for a new biology is staggering. This cloud could represent a second genesis, proving that life can emerge from the raw energy of a nebula as easily as from the tidal pools of a planet. Its very existence suggests that the galaxy might be filled with life we have not yet learned to recognize, beings of light and gas that think in the slow, patient rhythm of the stars themselves. The crystal geode planet is a world of profound silence and hidden light. Its surface appears unremarkable, a dull, rocky sphere scarred by ancient impacts. But this crust is merely a thin shell, a brittle egg hiding a breathtaking secret within. The entire planet is hollow, and its inner surface is a forest of colossal, luminous crystals that reach toward the empty center. These structures are not mere minerals, they are light sources, each one glowing with a soft, internal radiance that illuminates the vast, cavernous interior with an eternal, multi-colored twilight. The formation of such a world is a story of delicate cosmic balance. It began not with a planetesimal collision, but with a bubble. A massive pocket of superheated gas, rich in silicon and rare earth elements, was trapped within a cooling nebula. As the nebula dissipated, the outer layers of this bubble cooled and solidified into a rocky crust, while the interior remained a pressurized, gaseous void. Over eons, the trapped minerals slowly condensed out of the gas, growing atom by atom into the magnificent crystalline structures that now line the inner world. The pressure and chemical purity within this sealed environment allowed for the creation of crystals of impossible size and perfection, some standing taller than mountains and glowing with the energy they absorbed from the planet's faint internal geothermal heat. This internal world creates the potential for an ecosystem unlike any other. Within the crystal forest, life would not rely on a sun. The crystals themselves are the primary energy source, their gentle light driving a form of photosynthesis unique to this cavern. Plant-like organisms might have evolved to tap directly into the crystalline structures, drawing both sustenance and structural support from them, while flying or gliding creatures could navigate the vast empty space between the crystal spires. The entire food web would be built upon the constant, soft glow of the geode's heart. Exploring this world presents an unprecedented ethical and physical challenge. The planetary crust is terrifyingly fragile, likely just a few miles thick in places. A standard orbital insertion or the impact of a heavy lander could easily fracture the shell, causing a catastrophic decompression that would shatter the delicate inner environment and extinguish its light forever. Approaching this world requires the touch of a cosmic surgeon. Proposed missions involve feather-light, teleoperated drones that would enter through a natural fissure or a carefully drilled microtunnel. These drones would need to be self-contained, emitting no heat or vibrations, and would use optical sensors to map the interior without projecting any foreign light that could disrupt the native species. The very act of observation could be a form of contamination, so scientists debate whether to send physical probes at all or to rely on remote sensing from a great distance. The crystal geode planet is a cathedral of natural art, a world that challenges our desire to touch and know everything. It reminds us that some of the universe's most beautiful secrets are also its most fragile, and that true discovery sometimes means knowing when to watch from afar, preserving the mystery for eons to come. This unpredictable echo transforms a quiet sector of space into a cosmic hall of mirrors. The echoing void is a region where any signal beamed into its heart will eventually return, but the delay is a complete mystery. A simple radio pulse might bounce back in a few seconds, while an identical signal sent moments later could take hours or even days to return. This chaotic behavior defies the most basic principles of communication, where a consistent speed is fundamental. The space inside the void seems to possess a strange, non-linear geometry, stretching and compressing the paths of signals at random. The theories attempting to explain this phenomenon are as wild as the effect itself. One compelling idea suggests the void is not a region of our universe at all, but a loose pocket dimension, a bubble of reality with its own, slightly different laws of physics. In this view, signals are not simply bouncing, they are briefly crossing into this other realm and re-emerging, with the unpredictable delay representing the chaotic nature of the dimensional boundary. Another hypothesis points to a gravitational anomaly of unimaginable complexity. Perhaps a dense knot of dark matter or a cluster of microscopic black holes churns within the void, creating a constantly shifting gravitational lens that warps the path of light and radio waves in an endless, unpredictable dance. To unravel this mystery, scientists have launched a series of daring experiments. They have sent synchronized fleets of small, expendable probes into the void's periphery, each one broadcasting a unique, time-stamped signal. The goal is to map the internal structure by seeing which signals return when and from what apparent direction. The results have been baffling, showing no clear correlation between the entry point and the echo's behavior. The data suggests the void is not simply turbulent but actively chaotic, as if the space inside is alive and thinking. Despite the frustration, a tantalizing possibility has emerged from the chaos. If the pattern of delays could ever be decoded, the echoing void could become the most powerful communication tool in the galaxy. A message could be sent into the void with a specific encoding that only the intended recipient, who understands the void's current rhythm, could decipher from the returning echoes. It would be a perfect cipher, a natural satellite for secret conversations across the stars. The void is more than a scientific puzzle, it is a test. It challenges our desire for a predictable universe and offers a whisper of a future where chaos itself becomes the key to connection. Rising from a barren world, a fountain of pure energy defies gravity itself. The magnetic fountain is a colossal geyser of charged particles, a brilliant blue-white pillar that erupts from a planet's surface and climbs thousands of miles into the vacuum of space. It does not flow with water, but with a superheated plasma, a fourth state of matter where atoms are torn apart into a seething soup of electrons and ions. This incredible structure is not static, it is a living, breathing entity. From orbit, telescopes have watched it pulse and sway, its form constantly reshaped by the invisible hands of planetary magnetism. At its base, the fountain is a concentrated beam, but as it rises, it fans out into a shimmering, umbrella-like canopy, scattering particles back into the thin atmosphere in a perpetual, radiant rain. The science behind this spectacle is a delicate cosmic balance. The planet at its base possesses a ferociously active metallic core, spinning rapidly to generate a magnetic field of unbelievable strength. This field is the engine of the fountain. It channels and accelerates particles from the planet's upper atmosphere, funneling them along magnetic field lines that act like the walls of an invisible tube. These particles are given so much energy that they achieve escape velocity, punching through the planet's gravity and soaring into the void. The fountain's brilliant glow is the final piece of the puzzle. As these high-speed charged particles spiral along the magnetic field lines, they lose energy by emitting light, a process known as synchrotron radiation. This creates the characteristic ethereal blue that makes the fountain visible across the solar system. Observations from orbiting probes have revealed the fountain's profound impact on its world. The constant loss of atmospheric particles is slowly stripping the planet of its air, creating a thin, excited halo of gas that trails behind it in its orbit like a ghostly veil. This process offers a dramatic look at how planetary magnetic fields are not just shields, but active, dynamic forces that can sculpt a world's very existence. For scientists, this single fountain is a natural laboratory for plasma physics on a grand scale. Understanding how it sustains itself could teach us how to contain plasma in fusion reactors, bringing us closer to a future of limitless clean energy. It stands as a monument to the hidden power of magnetism, a force that can build a bridge of light between a planet and the stars. This nebula holds onto its light like a secret. The time-dilated nebula is a cosmic cloud where photons struggle for millennia to escape its intense gravitational grip, forcing them to climb a steep, invisible hill before they can finally stream into the void. For us, this creates a natural time-lapse film of the nebula's own history. The light arriving at our telescopes today shows the nebula not as it is now, but as it was in its youth, revealing its formative processes in extreme slow motion. The cause is a dense, hidden core of stellar remnants at the nebula's heart, a graveyard of collapsed stars whose combined gravity warps the surrounding space-time into a deep well. This is not a black hole that traps light forever, but a powerful drag that dramatically delays its journey. By observing different layers of the nebula, we can effectively peel back time. The light from the outer fringes is relatively recent, while the light from deep within its glowing heart is vastly older, showing us the structure's embryonic state. This allows astronomers to watch, in a single observation, the entire life cycle of a nebula, from the initial shockwave of the supernova that created it to the slow, beautiful expansion and cooling of its gases over eons. The technical challenge lies in untangling this layered timeline. Scientists use a method called spectral deconvolution, analyzing the subtle shifts in the light's color and intensity from different depths to assign each photon its proper place in the nebula's history. It is a painstaking process, like reconstructing a family tree from a single, impossibly old photograph. The insights gained are rewriting our understanding of nebula evolution. We can now see precisely how shockwaves trigger the collapse of gas clouds to form new stars, and how the heavy elements forged in supernova are gradually dispersed to seed future generations of planets. This nebula is more than a cloud of gas. It is a living archive, a patient teacher showing us that to see the true life of a cosmic object, you must sometimes be willing to wait for its story to arrive. Even the most chaotic black holes can produce a strange and beautiful harmony. The harmonic black hole is a cosmic musician, its gravitational waves not a random crash but a structured, resonant tone. When massive objects spiral into its event horizon, they do not simply vanish. They create ripples in the fabric of space-time, and in this case, those ripples form a clean, steady frequency that we can translate into sound. It sings a single, profound note, a hum that resonates across the cosmos. This harmonic pattern is a direct window into the black hole's most fundamental properties. The primary frequency of the tone reveals its total mass, a deeper pitch indicating a more colossal object. The subtle overtones and harmonics woven into this main note tell us how fast it is spinning. A simple, pure tone suggests a slow, stately rotation, while a complex, warbling song points to a vortex spinning at a significant fraction of the speed of light. Detecting this celestial music requires the most sensitive instruments ever built. Vast observatories like LIGO and Virgo act as galactic ears, using lasers to measure infinitesimal changes in the length of their arms, changes smaller than an atomic nucleus caused by a passing gravitational wave. It is an experiment of almost impossible precision, listening for a whisper in a universe full of cosmic noise. The cultural impact of hearing this sound has been profound. Composers have incorporated these translated frequencies into symphonies, creating duets between human orchestras and the song of a black hole. Philosophers and storytellers speak of the music of the spheres, an ancient concept made stunningly real by this gravitational soloist. We are not just observing a destructive force, we are connecting with it on an emotional level, hearing the universe express itself in a language beyond light. For scientists, every note is a stream of precious data. A sudden shift from a steady hum to a chaotic screech could signal a dramatic event, like a star being captured and torn apart. The gradual change in the song's pitch over millennia tells the story of the black hole's growth, a slow, cosmic ballad of consumption. We are not just watching this object, we are listening to its history, a song of gravity that has been playing for millions of years before we learned how to hear it. While the harmonic black hole sings its resonant note across the cosmos, a more delicate kind of music plays out in the tail of a wandering comet. The crystal rain comet glides through the void, but it does not trail a simple haze of gas and ice. Instead, it sheds a constant, glittering stream of solid crystals, a slow-motion blizzard of geometric perfection left in its wake. These are not the random snowflakes of a terrestrial storm. Each particle is a tiny, flawless jewel, forged in the impossible cold and pressure of the comet's interior. The nucleus of this comet is a cosmic pressure cooker, a dense ball of ice and rock laced with rare silicates and complex hydrocarbons. As the comet swings close to a star, the surface heats just enough to create fractures, releasing the internal pressure in a controlled, continuous sigh. This sudden decompression, combined with the profound cold of space, forces the vaporized materials to skip the liquid state entirely, snapping instantly into rigid, intricate crystalline structures. The visual spectacle from our telescopes is breathtaking. When starlight catches this drifting curtain of crystals, the entire tail seems to ignite with a billion pinpoint sparkles. It looks less like a comet and more like a celestial artisan has strung a river of diamonds across the black velvet of space, a shimmering pathway that marks the comet's lonely journey. This isn't just a beautiful accident, it is a flying mineralogical laboratory. The potential for collecting samples of this crystalline rain is a tantalizing goal for mission planners. Imagine a spacecraft equipped with vast, delicate nets flying alongside the comet to gently catch these pristine particles. Each captured crystal would be a time capsule, its atomic structure holding a perfect, uncontaminated record of the comet's original composition from the early days of the galaxy. By analyzing them, we could read the recipe for this entire sector of space, learning which long-dead stars contributed their unique elemental ashes to this icy wanderer. This glittering trail is more than a pretty light show, it is a frozen library, its pages written in a language of light and geometry, waiting for us to learn how to read. This quantum dust cloud makes the bizarre rules of the tiny world visible on a cosmic scale. Drifting through a nebula's quiet heart is a formation where particles do not behave like tiny billiard balls, but like ghostly probability waves. Within this cloud, dust grains can perform the impossible, vanishing on one side of an energy barrier and instantly reappearing on the other through a process called quantum tunneling. Even more disorienting, individual particles exist in multiple places and states at the same time. A condition known as superposition, where a single speck of dust is simultaneously spinning clockwise and counterclockwise until a measurement forces it to choose. Observing this cloud directly is the central challenge. The very act of looking, of shining even a single photon of light onto a particle to determine its location, collapses its delicate wave function. It forces the particle to pick a single reality, destroying the quantum behavior we want to study. Our instruments are too blunt, our light too disruptive for this fragile dance. To study it, scientists are designing experiments of incredible subtlety. One proposal involves a network of non-invasive sensors that would not directly touch the cloud, but instead map the gravitational and magnetic fields around it. By watching how these fields fluctuate in ways that defy classical physics, researchers hope to infer the quantum chaos occurring within. Another, more radical experiment suggests using quantum entanglement itself as a tool. The plan is to fire a stream of entangled particles from a distant probe into the cloud's periphery. If a particle inside the cloud interacts with one of these entangled twins, the change would be instantly reflected in its partner light years away, allowing us to gather data without ever physically touching the mysterious dust. The implications of a stable, macroscopic quantum object are profound. If we can learn how this cloud maintains its quantum coherence across such vast distances, it could revolutionize our own technology. We might unlock the secret to building quantum computers that are immune to decoherence, machines capable of calculations that would take current supercomputers the lifetime of the universe to solve. Or we could develop materials with impossible properties, substances that use quantum tunneling to create perfect superconductors or unbreakable alloys. This cloud is not just a scientific curiosity, it is a promise, a glimpse of a future where the universe's most fundamental and strangest rules are finally within our grasp. Orbiting that silent phantom is a moon that deepens the mystery, a satellite we know only by its shadow upon other shadows. The ghost planet's moon is an enigma wrapped inside an enigma, a world whose presence is felt but never seen. We discovered it not by watching the moon itself, but by observing the subtle, rhythmic wobble in the ghost planet's own gravitational lensing effect. As the invisible planet passed in front of a background star, its gravity bent the starlight in a predictable arc. Yet, superimposed on that clean signal was a smaller, secondary wobble, a tiny hitch in the stellar brightening that repeated in a perfect cycle. This was the gravitational signature of an unseen moon, tirelessly circling its dark parent. The methods used to infer its existence are a testament to scientific ingenuity, relying on the minute fingerprints left on the fabric of space-time itself. It is a celestial detective story where the only clues are tiny distortions in a beam of light from a star millions of years away. The theories about its composition are as strange as its nature. Could this moon be made of the same condensed dark matter as its planet, a perfect sphere of the universe's most mysterious substance? Or is it something even more exotic, a theoretical construct known as a boson star, a giant particle held together by fundamental forces we are only beginning to understand? This tiny, invisible moon could be the key that unlocks the secrets of dark matter. By studying its orbit with painstaking precision, we can measure its mass and its gravitational interactions with unparalleled accuracy. It is a natural laboratory for testing our models of how dark matter behaves, a single data point that could validate or shatter decades of cosmological theory. If we can understand the bond between this dark planet and its dark moon, we might finally grasp how this invisible scaffolding shapes the entire visible universe, holding galaxies together from the shadows. A star at the edge of NGC 262 appears to be watching the galaxy back. This is no ordinary ball of plasma, but a celestial body whose surface activity suggests a slow, burning intelligence. Long-term observatories have recorded its solar flares and sunspot cycles for decades, and the data reveals something extraordinary. Its massive coronal ejections are not random. They occur in complex mathematical sequences that mirror neural firing patterns in a biological brain, and these patterns shift in direct response to external events. When a nearby comet was pulled into a black hole, the star's surface erupted in a flare of specific intensity and duration. When a gravitational wave from a distant merger passed through its system, its sunspot activity dimmed in a precise, rhythmic counterpoint. It is as if the star is sensing its environment and responding in a language of energy and light. The scientific community is fiercely divided over the evidence. Skeptics propose a natural, if incredibly complex, internal dynamo. They argue that the star's magnetic fields are so tangled that they create the illusion of patterned behavior, a beautiful cosmic feedback loop that we are misinterpreting as thought. Yet, proponents point to the adaptive nature of the responses. The star's reactions are not simple echoes, they are nuanced changes. After a surge of gamma radiation from a pulsar, the star's next flare was not a copy, but a more complex variation, as if it had learned from the initial interaction. This has forced a profound philosophical question onto the agenda of every cosmologist. If this star is conscious, what does it think about? Its mind would operate on a timescale of centuries, its thoughts as slow and vast as its own nuclear fires. It might contemplate the gravity of its planets, the light of its sibling stars, or the silent, endless expansion of the universe itself. We are left to wonder if we are studying an object or attempting to communicate with a being whose very concept of existence is alien to our own. This perfect cosmic mirror hangs in the void, reflecting the entire NGC 262 galaxy back upon itself. The region is not a physical object, but a vast area of space that acts like a flawless-looking glass, creating a duplicate image of the galaxy that is both perfect and subtly wrong. The mirrored version is not static, it shifts and ripples over centuries, as if the reflection is slowly catching up to events that happened millions of years ago. The primary force behind this impossible sight is gravitational lensing, but on a scale and perfection never before imagined. An immense, perfectly aligned concentration of dark matter warps the fabric of space-time into a single, smooth curve, bending the light from the far side of the galaxy so that it travels around this gravitational hill and arrives at our telescopes, creating a coherent, mirrored copy. The awe this inspires is almost spiritual. To look at this region is to see your own cosmic home twice, to witness the spiral arms and glittering clusters you know so well reflected in a phantom twin. It feels like the universe has become self-aware, pausing to admire its own reflection in a silent, dark pool. Yet the reflection is not quite perfect. Detailed analysis reveals subtle anomalies, areas where the mirrored starlight is a slightly different color or intensity than the original. These discrepancies have sparked a fierce debate. Is this the ultimate natural phenomenon, a one-in-a-trillion cosmic accident where dark matter just happened to collapse into this perfect lens, or are we looking at something constructed? The most extraordinary theory suggests this mirror is an artifact, a project of such staggering scale that it dwarfs the concept of a Dyson sphere. A civilization capable of engineering dark matter into a specific shape would be manipulating the very framework of reality, using gravity as a tool to build a telescope, a piece of art, or a monument of unimaginable purpose. Ongoing research focuses on decoding the mirror's shifting patterns. Scientists are treating the entire region as a complex signal, using supercomputers to analyze the timing and nature of the ripples in the reflection. They are searching for a pattern, a message, or a signature hidden in the light of the duplicate galaxy. The mirror's purpose remains its deepest secret. Is it a cosmic observatory, allowing its creators to watch the entire galaxy from a single vantage point? Is it a form of communication, a beacon whose message is written in the dance of starlight? Or is it a warning showing us a potential future or a parallel path our galaxy might take? This silent, perfect reflection offers no answers, only a profound and beautiful mystery, a final testament to the fact that in NGC 262, even reality itself can have a perfect and deeply unsettling double. Our journey through 50 of the strangest objects in the NGC 262 galaxy reveals a cosmos far more bizarre and beautiful than we ever dared to dream. We have encountered sentient dust clouds, stars that warp time, and oceans floating alone in the void. Each one of these mysteries is an open invitation, a challenge to push the boundaries of our science and to fuel our deepest curiosity. The universe is not a static museum, but a living, breathing enigma, constantly presenting new puzzles for those willing to look. The next great discovery could be waiting in the data from a forgotten probe or in the flicker of a distant star. We want to hear which of these strange objects captured your imagination the most. Share your thoughts and your own cosmic theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the unknown, Be sure to subscribe for more journeys to the farthest reaches of space and the deepest mysteries of reality. Keep looking up and never stop.